I think Microsoft Teams has something different now, the interface. I cannot find my. Okay. Alright. Okay. So today we are going to learn interaction overview diagram, still under interactions diagram. Basically, interaction overview diagram is activity diagram plus sequence diagram. It's much easier. Let's see how it looks like. Alright. So before I start, okay. So before we go further, basically this is the overall of UML diagram types. Okay, we have looked into the structure diagram in terms of object and class diagram, and then we move to behavior diagram first. So we have covered activity diagram, use case diagram, and sequence diagram, and some of communication diagram when you are trying to draw the class diagram. Okay, if you can remember, when you have to come up with the CRC, and then the output is the class diagram. Before you go for the class diagram, you have to draw the communication diagram, and then from there you know what are the classes involved, then you know these are some of the classes for that particular system class diagram. Okay, so now we go for interaction overview diagram. Okay, so basically from the previous lecture, this is the thing that you have seen before. Okay, sequence diagram where you have classes and then the interaction between classes using messages, whether you're going to use synchronous or asynchronous. Okay, and then there are one part where you start using reference. Okay, reference where at the moment you use reference to refer to other included use case or extended use case. However, actually reference is more than that. Okay, so you know that when you have, for example, this withdraw cash, and you have reference sequence diagram balance lookup, you know that you have to come up another sequence diagram for balance lookup. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Okay, this is the example. So basically, interaction overview diagram is very useful when describing a complex interaction. So that is why I told you that sequence diagram actually is very close to program code. When based on your past experience, program code is always complex. It's very detailed, very refined. So if you really can translate your program code into sequence diagram, so basically your sequence diagram will be have a very complex interaction. So it is good for the programmer. However, it's not really good for the stakeholder. Okay, it's hardly to read lah. Which is beat the purpose of having UML. UML is a visualization language. When you talk about visual, is the main purpose of visual is to easy to understand. All right, so that is why the UML 2.0 has this in diagram. We call it as interaction overview diagram, so that we simplify the complex interaction. Right, it comprises one or multiple of reference interaction fragments. Okay, and usually we use it for describe high-level system interactions. But regardless, you can have it for even not high-level system interaction. So interaction overview diagram, or IOD, can describe a sequence diagram that is based on the use case. We have two scenarios. First, sequence diagram for a particular use case, which is consists of many complex messages, or sequence diagram for a base case, or the one that we use for extended or included use case. Alright, so that is how you're going to have. For example, your use case is employee and enter code. What is this? Oh, enter code, and then you have the option to release door for one access. So based on this use case, your sequence diagram. This one is IOD. Your IOD will be like this. You start with the enter code, and then your release door, which is extended, you put it outside. Before that, you will put it inside, right? Okay, never mind. We go to another one. Okay. So this is another example of interaction overview diagram. If I zoom in, stop. So you can see that, all right, it start with this initial node, okay. It has many fragments, okay. Sequence diagram 1, sequence diagram 2, 3, 4, and etc. And then how it relates to each other based on this diamond, okay, for if else or loop or for and join. Alright, so and then definitely you must have guide, okay. Let's say this fraud possible is a guide lah, so that we know where to go. And then lastly, it ends with the end node. Okay, so basically interaction overview diagram is a diagram where you use activity diagram to represent complex sequence diagram. Okay, so it start with the initial node and then end with the end node. However, there are some other notation lah. For example, if you draw an activity diagram, you will have fork and join, right? But here you don't have interaction overview diagram. It doesn't have fork and join. Okay, so activity diagram here, the difference in general difference. Activity diagram is an individual activity depicted as step by step. All right, and then IOD depicted the step as a frame. So it means that one frame consists of many messages, many activities, many action, many step by step. Okay, so that is why it says that IOD meant for um, complex. If your sequence diagram is not complex, you cannot draw IOD. By definition, you cannot draw. It will be hard for you because it's meant for this. All right. So, okay, this is the notation of IOD. Alternative and optional. We have ALT, we have OPT. Combined fragments are replaced by a decision and merge node in IOD. Okay. Parallel combined fragments are replaced by split node and join node. Same thing. This one parallel is the power in the sequence. Okay. And then we also have loop. Loop combined fragments are replaced by a cycle in the activity diagram. So it means that you will have something like this, go to this, and then go back to this. You must be like this. And then we have branching and joining of branches must be properly nested. And then lifelines are not shown except where they occur in the included interactions, but may be listed in the heading text of the frame or to represent the interaction with its interfaces via an actor. So let's say, what do you ask me? Okay, basically you know that in the activity diagram, sequence diagram, you will have actor, and then you got this lifeline followed by, for example lah, okay, and then you have another one, for example. Okay, so in this one is in the sequence diagram. So what happened in the interaction overview diagram? This one, okay, remove. Alright. Mana satu lagi saya mesti sampai. Okay. Okay, this one, alright, these two remove. This one you can retain. For the actor, you can retain. Alright. That is why sometimes it's better you remove the actor altogether, so that you will only have something like this, and then like this for IOD. Okay. So, okay, wait. I have to stop. So you remove the actor, and then you will leave with the classes, and then all the messages are important messages. Right, that's for interaction with diagram. But then sometimes there are some situation where you need to have the actor. It's okay. If you have actor, then you will have the whole thing. This one, you will have the whole thing. If you retain this, it means that retain actor, it means that with lifeline. Okay. So that is interaction overview diagram, basic notation. So most of the notation for interaction overview diagram is the same for activity diagrams and sequence diagram, except for, I'm not sure what this means, but then it has initial node, it has final notation for your activity diagram. Okay, I will remove this. Okay, I do not know how to explain, sorry. Skip. Okay, how to model interactions using IOD. Okay, first, you have to decide on the interaction model, which one. Basically, which one to have IOD. So your judgment is based on complex or high level. Okay. So if you have a very simple sequence diagram, you won't have IOD. Okay. And then breaks the interaction up into separate interactions and interaction occurrences, and replace alternative, option, loop, and parallel structure with the appropriate notation from activity diagram. So basically, this one you will replace with the diamond. Okay, and then the second one, basically, which one has to be in fragment. Fragment is like this, random. Okay. So this is the 3 steps that you need to know. Okay, for example, what's this? Okay, scenario 1. Initial node and final node are not needed in IOD when the interaction occurrence is in the sequence diagram. I don't understand. Can I skip this? Skip, This one is recorded and this, I want to skip. Okay. Okay. So this is a basic notation of the IOD. First is start with SD and then followed by use case name and operation name. I noticed that some groups use this. Ni. Yang besar sikit. Why do you do? Ni tak perlu. This one no need. You just put SD. What? Login. Okay. It's like this. It's not like SD. Login, no. But I don't put, I don't make it wrong lah, because I don't know why. But there's no such thing as this one. This one is just to represent, this part. You have to put the use case name or operation name. That's it. Okay. Alright, and then the notation of IOD start with this one, number 1. Okay, initial node. And then what is the next one? Fragment 1. Maybe go to another sequence diagram. And then this one is a fragment 2. Okay, and then end with end node. Alright, so for this one, okay, let me mark this. By right, there is no this one, there is no this one. Remove, okay. Remove lifeline. Okay, right. There is another one. Inspect application. Alright, start initial node, and then you got another reference, and then they got control flow, doesn't matter, the arrow where it goes, and then goes to sequence diagram interaction, and then you have to remove this. Okay, and then final node, end node. So this is another example. This is example for initial node unneeded in IOD when there are interaction occurrence plus notation sequence interaction. Okay, this one is if you want to have condition if else, for example. So what you can do is you have this diamond, okay, followed by get. Alright, so this is very common lah. I think you should have no problem with this. And then again, sorry, this one remove. Okay, and then once you, this one is what they call it, join, right? This one is the start diamond and the end diamond. What do you call it? Join and I forgot the term already. What is it just now? Decision and merge node. Decision, merge node. This one we call it decision node. Let me write. I also forgot. Start with decision node and with merge node. Okay. This is in IOD. Right. Okay, so another example. So by right, you should have this. Do you know why all of this happened? Because we refer to internet. This is what happened when you refer to internet. Okay. So you will have decision node or join decision node, betul lah. And then you have merge node. Yes, merge node. Okay. So you know that if you talk about branch, is regardless lah whether if else ke, case ke, sometimes while loop condition lah kan. Yeah, you know this. I don't have to explain. Alright, this one is to show scenario 4. Initial node and final node are needed in a... Yes.
Sorry for interrupting, but in previous lecture you said that we do not have to end the diamond with another diamond, right?
Oh, that one sequence diagram.
I see.
This one is IOD. IOD, they have this rule, following this rule.
Alright, thank you, Doctor.
Okay. So, thank you for the question. Don't misunderstand with the sequence diagram or activity diagram. This one is for IOD. The one is different. Okay. So I just follow the rules. We got 5 rules here. So for the alternate, combine fragments, replace by decision and merge, regardless how you do for sequence diagram. And same thing goes to loop. Okay, this one you will use this diamond lah. And then in the activity diagram, you have parallel using fork and join. So you do not have that in IOD. You have this, right, fork and join, like that, like that, like that, right? So this one we replace with the diamond. Okay. And right. Okay. So this one is the fork and join nodes. Fork and join nodes example. Okay. So let's say you have that. See, you have fork and join. So what you have to do for IOD, you have to replace. What is it? Is it same example? No. It's different. So this one, you will replace it with diamond. Okay. Same thing goes to this one. Alright. Okay, this one is just for loop. Where is the loop now? Oh, okay. We have initial node, interaction, occurrence. This one we call it as interaction occurrence, the reference. And then we have another sequence diagram at posted advert, inline sequence diagram. We call it as an inline sequence diagram. And then we have decision. Okay, and then final node. So this one, actually you will have something like this, go to this. Okay. So what happened here is, what is the loop? Oh, this loop. This loop for all client, just inside the thing. Where is it? Tak ada pun. I think for loop it's just like this, right? If you want to have loop, you will start, let's say, initial, and then you got another one, and then you got this diamond, and then you got let's say another fragment, and then you got something like this. This is the loop with the condition. If not, then maybe go to here. It's like a normal. Right, this one represent the loop. Okay. So this is alternate example. So reference, go to another sequence diagram. That's it. Okay. I give you another example. This one is step by step. Let's say how to convert this sequence diagram, refund membership fee, into an interaction overview diagram. Let's say you have this. This is your original, your sequence diagram. Okay, we have car mesh administrator, refund UI, refund control, car sharer, journey, accounts, alright? So all of this. And then inside the sequence diagram, you have all these messages, and then you have loop and then alternate. Okay, so we consider this as quite a complex diagram now. And then from here, what you have to do is, how are you going to simplify this using IOD? Right? So you can make this part as one IOD. Okay, one fragment lah, the first one. That is how they got this. Get UI data to represent refund UI, fund control, and car share only. So if you look at this part, okay, actually it comes from here. It comes from here. This. Okay. However, if you refer back, it does not cover the whole thing. So what does it mean? It means that you only take the important messages. Important messages, you will remove all the reply. So that's why it lives with this. It's simpler. And then there is no lifeline. Okay. So in this case, he removed totally the actor. Just take the classes only. And then next, you have loop. Okay. So for loop, basically, you have alternate. Whether go to delete journey or set journey to the function, is it? Yes. Delete journey or set journey. So what they do is, after you get first journey, and then you have option whether true or false. Alright. So using the diamond. And then once you have that, then you combine with the loop part. The loop part is get next thing. So if we go back to here and check. So repeat lah. This one and then repeat here. Right. That one is for the loop part. Okay. So inside the loop, you have if else for option true and option false. So when you look at the IOD for refund membership fee, is simpler, it's easier to understand. You know that the first thing for refund membership fee is get UI data. It means get data, whatever, from the UI, the interface. So you have refund interface and then the refund control and then go to the database. right? The table database, car sharing, for example, and then get all the information. After that, then we check whether we want to delete journey or set journey to the function. And then if there is another journey, then it will repeat again. Okay, that's it. Then lastly is notify the account. Notify account is this part. Yes. They combine this, become one IOD. See? So if you refer back the sequence diagram, this one you have so many messages go, uh, you know, all direction, for all direction, especially for synchronous, right? But then IOD is simpler. It's easy to understand. So most of the time, stakeholder prefer to have IOD compared to sequence diagram. Sequence diagram more on the programmer side lah, more to this programmer side, because this one is much simpler, right? There are so many things that the programmer has to assume if they refer to IOD. Okay, so that is how you convert from a sequence diagram to IOD. IOD basically using activity diagram notation. However, you are focusing on fragmentizing messages in the sequence diagram. That's the purpose. So that's all for IOD. Any question? Senang macam. Tak soalan. If you have no question, then that's all for today.
Doctor, I have a question.
Okay.
Like for the first part, sequence diagram get UI data, and then inside that we have like return UI, return refine control, and then all of that. Like the interaction overview diagram. Last slide.
Okay.
And then why for the like delete journey, set journey to define, there is no sequence diagram like the simple sequence diagram inside it. Like when to use the
Inside. The inside
get
one. Understand. Okay, good question. Actually, you do. Okay. At the end of the day, I'm not sure whether for your project you had to come up with IoT or not. Most of the time, student will come up with this only. The most simpler one. Reference, and then go to another reference, all reference.
Oh, I see.
All reference. They remove totally this one as well. Easier for them to draw. It's okay.
Oh, it is okay that way.
But then you have to remember when you have this let's say when you have delete journey, set journey, get all of this, you must have sequence diagram for this. I add separate. You cannot simply put reference, delete journey, and then that's it. You cannot have that. You must have another one. So in other words, like before this, I told you that, based on use case diagram, if you have 10 use cases, you will have 10 sequence diagram, right?
Yeah.
Once I write it. Once you have IOD, you're going to have, or I think you should have one. You're going to have more than 10 sequence diagram. Every single the one that you say, refer, you must have sequence diagram. It's just, but then usually it's quite easy. You copy paste only from the main one. You get me? So in this case, for example, you definitely have sequence diagram for refund membership fee. That one is the previous one lah. Like this one, refund membership fee. And then, see, this one also you need another sequence diagram, right? Delete journey to the function. But then here you also have get next journey. If you refer back to the IOD, you also have this get journey. So this one must have this separate sequence diagram. You must have that. And then same goes to notify account. You must have a separate sequence diagram. So you will have more for sequence diagram. For your project, do you need to draw IOD? Good, no?
Some groups have to draw.
Those who have 7 members.
Yep.
So that it means more burden to those who have to prepare sequence diagram. Before this, you submit to me, let's say you got 10, you give me 10 sequence diagram, right? So once the IOD person start drawing his IOD, and then he will come up with the extra references, blah, blah, blah. Then the sequence diagram person has to add extra, change. You must have more. Now I remember, because I think someone has to do IOD. I'm not remember which batch. Yeah, those who have 7 members in the group. You want more members, right? You what lah? Now I remember. But it's easy. Actually, it's not difficult point. Because whatever you have, but the problem with the IOD person, how are you going to fragmentizing the SD? And then if your PIC person, your sequence diagram is simple, some group I commented that your SD is very simple. Because you cannot have so simple, impossible to be that simple. So if you make it little bit detailed, it's not complex, little bit detailed, it will help the IOD person to fragmentize, which part that can be, as a reference, as another sequence diagram. It will help the other person. See? But then once the IOD start drawing his IOD, I don't think it will affect the class diagram person. Because you are using the same thing. Unless IOD person saw something like, ni kau buat tak betul ni, that is different story lah. So far, I don't see any different. Okay? But the only thing about IOD is you will use a lot of diamonds. If your sequence do you need to have IOD for each sequence diagram? No. Only the complex one. Which one, doctor? I do not know. But it's not complex. Blame the SD person. Then you have to redo the sequence diagram, make it more refined so that it will help your IOD person. How many IOD I have to have? I do not know. It depends on your system. It depends on the project. So I cannot say, you only have 2, 3. I have no idea. I cannot say that. You can also have IOD at higher level. Do you know IOD higher level? IOD for this one is the easy one. IOD for high level system. What you have to do, you will have this one, your IOD kan, IOD SD. Your name, your system name, whatever lah your system name, ABC system. So the whole thing, whole story of the system, the whole story of the system. Let's say you have 10 use cases, right? So at least you have 10 fragments. You cannot have 10, you will have more fragments here. How the system works from the beginning until the end. You get me? The whole story. I think what you have to do, you start with this first lah. All the IOD person, it's not many group has 7 members. You start with this first, you know, high level system, and then after that, you will have few IOD for the complex part. Okay. Okay tak? Jawab tanya. So if we have IOD, we need add the sequence diagram. We need to add, correct. So you still need to add, no. There is a, no. You got nothing to do use case. Use case, I think by now is, all of your use cases are fine by now. By right is perfect already. That's it. You don't need to, because I think after you have your sequence diagram and activity diagram, you realize that some use cases has to merge, some has to break down. That's why you keep on changing, right? So I think after this is quite refined. You no need to change. This case is safe by now. This one is IOD. This one sequence diagram. As sequence diagram person must talk with the IOD person. If IOD person, if you encounter problem to abstract out, you know, to have the fragments, so you have to discuss, ask the SD sequence diagram person to refine more, where you can make it more messages, you know. I think the PowerPoint site has many examples. I think the example is good enough for you to refer. Yes, only group for 7 members. Because the 7 person number 7, he doesn't have any job to do. The one person is, right? For those who have 6 members, you don't have to do. Unless you are rajin, you can do it. I don't mind. It's okay. It's good actually. Any more questions? For those who do this project individual, definitely you do not have IOD. I think you have less diagrams. But then your diagram must be complete. You have to do all diagrams listed. Buatlah seorang-seorang. Tak kerti nak buat kerja dengan orang lain. Then you do it alone and then make sure do it properly. You are responsible for all the diagrams. Any more questions?
Doctor, one question.
Yes.
When we finish the IOD diagrams and the timing diagrams, all that, the only time you'll view it is during the final report, right?
Final report.
Like, there's no submission for IOD, is it?
I don't think so. That was for final report.
Okay, got it.
I think next is activity. After activity, I'm not sure there is no submission. I'm not really sure after that. Tak ingat lah. Do you
There's
have
no
any
submission.
There's no sub.
The last one is activity diagram and then straight for the final report.
Okay. So the problem will be those who have to draw other diagrams that you do not have to submit. Class diagram, IOD, timing. Do you have timing? I'm not remember. State tak ada kot. Tak ingat lah. All this. Do you know why? Because you do not know whether they are correct or not. You are very lucky because you have to submit at the end of the semester. However, the problem is you do not know whether they are correct or not. For those who have to draw the sequence diagram, the most, I don't know lah. Okay, I know it's not that easy. Class diagram is another thing, but some groups already asked me about class diagram because they want to relate with the sequence. So I can check lah. And then actually they know whether they are correct or not. They are good. And so it's up to you. I cannot make it submission until the end of semester. Takut you all stress. That's the thing. Because I know that by now all other subjects start asking to submit many things. So that's why I stopped this week. That's the purpose. But then if you think that, doctor, can you help us to do that? I don't mind. I can check briefly, at glance whether it's correct or not. Okay. So any other question? No need. IOD, you don't have to pass up to submit for group less than 7. This one only for group that has 7 members only. Okay. Any more? So I think that's all for IOD. Before I end today's session, I would like to remind you on this Thursday, you have 2 things to do. First, activity diagram submission, and second is exam. So they call it as a alternative assessment. Basically, it's exam lah, right? So for this time, it's not MCQ. Okay, it's a written one. So the system will open at 9 o'clock and then it will close at 10 o'clock at night. Okay, because this time what you have to do is you go to the Spectrum, download the question and then do it and then submit. It's just like assignment lah, right? It means that it's not real time. Okay, so you only have 1 hour to do. Okay, so there I cannot accept any excuse because our calculation, the question can be done within 30 minutes. Plus minus technology problem, blah blah blah, it can be done within 60 minutes. Alright, do not submit at the end of 10 o'clock because you imagine that 300 submit at the same time. I'm not sure whether Spectrum can cope because the submission by right it should be November. But I do not know lah Spectrum. How many questions? We got 2. Sekejap I buka. I cannot buka here. Tengok nampak soalan. Exam. Exam. Final exam. Siap dengan password bagai. What is my password? Wait. Sabar What is the password? Jangan tak boleh buka lah. Oh, can. 17 December, betul lah? 17 lah, betul. Okay, 15 marks. Calon dikendaki menjawab semua. Okay, all answer all questions. 15 marks. Alright. Okay, your answer. Alright. Your answer. You must save your answer using your matrix number .pdf. .pdf. You know that I love PDF because I can straight away mark your paper. Blah blah blah. You know, PDF quite stable lah. If I want to, you know, conteng, write down, and scribble everything. So save it as a PDF, regardless what kind of, whether you're going to use technology ke, you take picture ke, I do not know, whatever. Okay, practice by now. Practice. I informed this many times. There are two questions. First question is about draw a use case diagram. Boring. And second one is draw a class diagram. There are only two questions. Save it as a PDF. Any other question? Is it matrix number or new matrix number? How many questions? We have two. Topics cover, use case and class diagram. New matrix number or old matrix number? New matrix number. Is it possible to have double fork and join in admin? Yes, you can have double fork and join. It's okay. There's no rule for that. Any other question? To draw on paper, or is it up to you, whichever comfortable that you can manage within 60 minutes. My advice, using technology. That is my advice. It's very straightforward, and then it's easy for you to, it's properly done. The question is the drawing is simple. It's not like your project. Your project is like very complicated. You know, you are very ambitious, so that's why your diagram like, wow, so complex. So exam, it cannot be that much. So don't worry. It's just like your tutorial lah. How the tutorial question looks like. Something like that. The difficulty is how you interpret the case study. That is the difficulty. You can draw using draw.io, you can draw, but then make sure that your arrow, I think use case have no problem, class diagram no problem. Yeah, the problem is when you draw sequence, when with the draw.io. You have to practice that. You can practice with the tutorial question. You try draw using draw.io. How fast that you can draw. But then if you not comfortable, you prefer pen and paper, then you draw properly on the paper and then take the picture and then what you call that? Put it in the Word, I do not know, or you save it all together and convert it into PDF. I have no idea. In my case, I use Adobe Scan. Adobe Scan is when I take picture, it will straight away convert to PDF. So I'm not sure you can use it. There's some, you have to explore it a bit. But don't worry much about that, you know. Worst scenario is you give me your picture lah. Because my concern is I do not understand your handwriting. Make sure when you you know, you snap the picture is a full with a full light all angle, you know. Do not draw, I mean, because it's hard to understand your handwriting first. So if your lighting of the picture is not clear, then I'm afraid I will misunderstood your diagram. I think shouldn't be a problem. Last time your senior okay je. Any other question? This one carry 15 marks. Not many.
Doctor, is there any other exam after this one?
Yes, there is second one. We got another one, the third one.
Okay.
The third one, not remember which diagram. I got another one. Week 12. This one week 9. Before presentation. Any other question? No more? I think if you have no other question, that's all for today. So good luck for this Thursday. I think should be no problem lah. Okay. You all are good. You should score for this part 2 exam, because so far what you have drawn, you know, what you have designed for your project, I can see the level of your understanding now. It's quite good. Okay. All right. That's all for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor.
See you on Thursday for tutorial of IOD. Okay. Bye. You're welcome.